Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast, where we empower you to build a better ranch and transform your operations into a thriving business. I'm your host, John Haskell. Let's get started. Well, good morning and welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast. I am John Haskell, and I am excited to be here today with Kailee Butterfield and Micayla Giffin, two members of our team, and I will have them introduce themselves. Kailee, would you like to introduce yourself?
Welcome to the Ranchonomics Podcast. My name's Kailee Butterfield. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Kailee Butterfield. I have been working with RanchRight for about 5 months now, but prior to working with RanchRight, I spent 4 years as a program analyst at the Farm Service Agency. So I'm really excited to talk about something that I have some life experience in and I really care about.
Good. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Glad to have you on our team. For the rest of you, Kailee is currently a junior staff accountant on our team, working with customers all around the country, helping them with their bookkeeping. Micayla, you want to introduce yourself? You've been here a few times.
Yes, I'm Micayla Giffin. I live in Northwest Tennessee. I started with RanchRight in March of 2025. And prior to that, I worked at FSA for 9 years, first as a farm loan officer, then a farm loan analyst, and then a state support specialist. Also a lot of experience just like Kailee, but excited to be with RanchRight and excited to talk about our shared experience.
Yeah, awesome. Good. All right. And we have poached both of these from FSA, which has been wonderful for us. And they know a lot about some stuff that I actually don't know that much about. I don't have a lot of involvement with FSA programs. I've done a number of things with NRCS over the years, but not a lot in great detail. So we're going to jump in, and Kailee, we're going to let you kind of take the lead today and walk us through things. Where would you like to start? We're going to talk about FSA programs that are available to people like our customers.
Yeah, the first place that I'd probably like to start is why do it in the first place? So participating in FSA programs is totally voluntary. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, unless, of course, you've already signed paperwork to do something with them. But you don't have to. You have the choice to do it. A good reason to do it is it's your taxpayer dollars that are funding these programs to begin with. So you might as well try and get some of your taxpayer money back by participating in these programs that are available to you. Another reason to do it is if you don't apply for these benefits, but your neighbors do, they technically have a competitive advantage over you. And I don't really like to see farmers and ranchers thinking of themselves as competitors with their neighbors. I want to see people win. We all want to see each other win. We all want to win in this industry. But if you can have some extra cash in your pocket to buy the neighbor's cows at some point, if that's how you manage for it, it's a good idea to do that kind of stuff.
Just to follow up on that point, there actually is data that shows that these types of programs, and then even other ones like LRP and the pasture range forage insurance, do impact real estate prices. They do impact markets. When these things happen, there are individuals that might benefit from the payments, but the whole market sees a change in the price of things as a result of that.
The payments that you get from FSA, they can affect prices of things. The whole point is to help support the market in some way for a lot of programs. But they might not save your farm. The payments that you get might not save the farm if you're in a tight spot or if you're in a pickle, but any extra cash that you could put towards getting out of a situation that you might be in is important. I think ultimately it's your management decisions that save or don't save a farm, but when you use FSA programs as a management tool to get extra cash, I think that's a giant competitive advantage over other people.
Yeah, very good. And to reinforce that point, we focus on profitability and operational effectiveness first, right? And then if these things complement that, great. We don't start with these and then think about how to be profitable after, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And another reason to do it, it can take some time to do FSA programs and to learn what they are and to visit with people and find out what you want to do. But it is usually always worth the time that you invest in it. So if you spend an hour doing an acreage report at your FSA office, and then you spend an hour doing a drought program, and you walk away with $1,000 worth of payment, that's $500 for each hour that you spent in the office doing things with your local FSA office. So,
which is pretty close to what Kailee gets paid on the regular anyway. So
I don't know about that. But yeah, it's very much worth your time invested filling out applications and doing your acreage reports for whatever programs you choose to do. If you get a sizable payment for it, you can think back on, well, I spent 5 hours doing stuff for my FSA office. I got $5,000. That's a really good paying job. It's a good management decision to spend your time that way.
Yep. Great. Okay. Excellent. So let's talk about types of programs.
Yes. So when I was at the county office, my main programs were acreage reporting and CRP, or Conservation Reserve Program. That's just a drop in the bucket of all the different kinds of things you can do there. There are disaster programs, and specifically for ranchers, the common ones are livestock forage program if there's a drought in your area, or livestock indemnity program if you've suffered from eligible losses, like if you lose calves in a snowstorm under certain situations and whatnot. There's ELAP, which is called the Emergency Livestock Assistance Program, that can help with the stuff that those two programs don't cover. There's NAP insurance. There's a load of programs that you can look into and see what fits your operation. So it's very important to do the research on them for sure.
And if we broke these into a couple of major categories, well, I guess what I see from where I sit is we have sort of the disaster assistance programs, which is like droughts, blizzards, etc. We have conservation-oriented programs, right, like EQIP and WIP and that sort of thing, and the CRP, like you mentioned, and then we have financing for people that are not otherwise eligible for financing. Is that correct?
Yes, and Micayla's got quite a lot more experience on the loan side of things for sure. What do you got for us, Micayla?
Yeah, so with farm loans, we've got a couple different types of loans that help farmers and ranchers in different ways. There are farm ownership loans, which can help you purchase real estate or make improvements to the real estate. Then there are operating loans, which are going to be more short-term loans up to 7 years. They help you purchase equipment, livestock, or can also be used as a line of credit for purchasing inputs for the year.
Okay, great. And those are generally, Micayla, do I understand correctly, those are generally only available if you are not eligible for private funding or funding through another source. Is that correct?
Yes. So FSA does not want to compete with commercial lenders.
Mm-hmm.
We're more of a partner with commercial lenders. So if an applicant isn't able to get commercial lending for a variety of reasons, it could be they don't have enough equity to support it. Maybe they don't have a down payment. Maybe they don't have the cash flow to take the commercial lending rates and terms. So FSA can serve as kind of a bridge to help young farmers build equity and to build cash flow. And with FSA, we're always looking to help producers graduate to commercial lending. It's really just building up their operation, helping them succeed. And then when they do, then the bank's able to help them and the bank succeeds. So it's really meant to be a partnership.
Okay. And those loans come in the form of either direct loans from FSA or through FSA, and then also guaranteed loans, right? Where it's a private loan, but FSA guarantees repayment to the bank.
Yes, very good point. So if a bank may be willing to make the loan, but would like some extra security and may ask for FSA to guarantee the loan, that would be kind of maybe the first step if you're not eligible for commercial loans. And then the next, if they still won't make the loan or you still can't get the financing, then FSA would be a consideration for a direct loan, which is actually getting the money from FSA.
Okay. Yeah, they're the actual lender as opposed to a cosigner, basically, or a guarantor.
Yeah, guaranteeing the security.
Yeah. Okay, good. A lot of folks make New Year's resolutions. Eat better, work out more, get organized. But if you're running a ranch, the best resolution you can make this year is to finally get your numbers in order. At RanchRite, we build financial systems that make sense for real ranch operations. Bookkeeping, reporting, and strategy that work in the real world. Make this the year you stop guessing and start managing with clarity. Learn more at ranchritellc.com. All right, Kailee, let's keep going. What are some of the challenges involved in these types of programs?
Yes. Well, some of the challenges that are easy to name off the top of your head is that there are so many programs to sign up for. There's so many things to choose from. It differs across the country. It differs from region to region. So there's the first thing to figure out when you're doing FSA stuff is, what am I eligible to apply for? What can I do? Really depends on your operation and your location. The other thing that can make it, or another thing that can make it somewhat difficult, is that there are handbooks that govern all these programs. Well, those handbooks are thousands, not even kidding, thousands of pages long, and they're often interconnected. So the rules can be very difficult to see. Sometimes they can be contradicting, but they're trying to cater to different situations and that kind of stuff. It's often difficult to see some rules in black and white, especially in programs like CRP or the Conservation Reserve Program. There are 3 different types of CRP contracts. There's the general, the continuous, and the grasslands. Between those, there's different practices that you can do, different seed mixtures, different things that you're allowed to do on the property. So trying to figure out what you can do, what you want to do, what fits for your operation can be somewhat of a daunting task. FSA programs are kind of like taxes. You can't lie and you can't cheat on them because they can come back and they can bite hard, especially in instances like CRP. You've really got to be careful that whatever you sign up for, you know what you're signing up for and you know what your obligations are, because there's strings attached to some of the money that comes out the door from FSA. So that's certainly an important thing to take note of.
Yeah, and your county agent can help you explain that, or can help you understand that and explain that to you, but you are ultimately responsible for the fact that you signed for it and you know what you're doing.
Yep, when you sign the dotted line, you accept responsibility for your actions within it. So
And
that
your
would be
your county agent may have another job in another county by the time everything kind of comes together, right?
Yeah, there's FSA, there's CRP contracts that I made when I was in the office, and I'll be 37 years old when it comes out, and I am not close to 37 at the moment. So the stuff that you do has a lasting impact for years to come in situations like that. If not for you, then for your kids and stuff like that. So another part that can somewhat make it difficult is there's new generations in the workforce. There's getting to be more and more new staff in FSA, which is great, but it can take a long time, even for the people that work at FSA, to be comfortable administering these programs. When I was in FSA, by the time I left the county office, I'd been the longest program analyst on the program side there, and I had only been there for 4 years. So there's a staff turnover. When there's new people involved, people don't always know what to say or know the programs, or they're learning alongside you. Another thing is, sometimes these ad hoc programs that come out on a dime, producers learn about these programs and the programs open up before the staff is even trained on how to administer them. So those are some difficulties that you got to learn how to navigate and learn how to figure out how to deal with.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay. What else? How do we learn about this? How do we get informed? How do we get started?
Listen to the podcasts. No, I'm just kidding. The best way that you can stay informed, to quote some people that were on the podcast, episode 11, I think it was Kyle and Kristen Marshall, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And they are so right in that. I think they were talking about ECP, applying for that program at that time. But the more that you communicate with your county office staff, the more that you participate, the more money you'll probably get out of it, or the more you'll know what you want to participate in and what you don't want to be in. On the same token, participating as a COC member in your county is a great way to stay informed. It is an elected position within your county. It's a 3-year rotation to be on it. The county committee, they meet periodically, but it's usually once a month throughout the year to act on all of the applications in the county. So that is your chance to know what's going on, know what programs are being administered, and have a say in how they are locally administered. So you get to have a voice, and you get to be a part of the decision making within your county by being on the COC.
Cool. How hard is it to get elected?
How many friends do you got?
Yeah, not many.
Depends on if you're, it's elected by the people within your region, in your county. So if you feel like you want to be a voice, or if you talk to your constituents and decide that that's something you want to do, it's a great way to stay informed. Most of the people on our COC, when I was there, they signed up for every program and they didn't miss a deadline. So
They knew what was going on.
yes. Another great way to stay informed is to just have a good relationship with your local staff. If we're reaching on a deadline and there's a guy who's in our office every week that hasn't signed up for it, we're thinking about him. If we're thinking about him, you're more likely to try and talk to him or get a hold of him. So it's important to have a good relationship with your staff, especially, with the last government shutdown that happened, trying to figure out to get your acreage reporting done. I know that at least in our county, we have a lot of wheat producers, and the wheat deadline in our county is November 15th. So having a plan to be able to get that stuff certified, or at least visiting with your staff to see what you can do, is pretty important.
So just real quickly, in a case like that, where there's a government shutdown, which we just had, I think 40 days or 45 days, right? What happens with those deadlines? Do they just march on, or do we delay those until everybody gets back to work?
They don't generally change deadlines. I don't exactly know what happened within our county office this time. I don't have any wheat in the county to worry about getting certified or anything like that. Generally, they could have a register where if you call and you say, hey, I'm not going to make it in before the deadline, but I want to report my crops on time, they can put you on a register and still count it as certified within the deadline. It's really dependent on your county office. It's different everywhere, and every county office does it different too. So where we came from, we sent out postcards with an appointment date that you had to make, or you call and reschedule. Some offices send out the maps to the producers and you fill them out, send it in, and they'll have something ready for you to sign next time you come through the office. So there's so many different ways that your individual FSA offices manage these kind of things that it's just really important to have a good relationship with your staff and see what you got to do to get it done.
Okay. Like everything else, people matter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Another way that you can stay in the know is signing up for newsletters, text alerts, reading the mail. That's an important one. Opening the letters and reading them can really get a lot of information out of those. If I had $1 for every time someone came in the office and said, hey, I got a letter, and we asked what the letter was about, they said, I don't know. We could have saved quite a little bit of time, So I guess my advice would be read the letters that are sent to you.
Or at least bring them into the office when you come. Huh?
Yeah, or bring them in with you so they know what's going on. There is one more thing that we've kind of made. So over the last few months, I've been tinkering with ChatGPT. And so I've made within ChatGPT on the OpenAI platform, it's called the FSA Program Navigator tool. And so anyone with a ChatGPT profile or who has their email linked to it, you can search it and you can find it. And the purpose of it is to help people navigate FSA programs, help them figure out what they could be eligible for. It's all stuff that your program analysts at your local office can do, but if you want to be more prepared to do research before you go in and visit with them, it's a great option. The tool itself, it's ChatGPT, it's AI, but it is more like an advanced search engine. And so what it does is it seeks through all of the FSA handbooks to find the actual rules regarding programs that you're looking at signing up for. It's not perfect. It doesn't know everything about any specific situations. It's always down to your county office as to what's really going on there. But it can be a really great tool if you want to kind of hash out, am I eligible for this? What can I do? It's a great tool. Just let it know. And the best success that I've found with it is when you give it a lot of context, a lot of what you want or where your situation is, but don't give it any personal information. No, I wouldn't give it your name or your location or your bank account or anything like that.
My social security number and checking account number are,
Yeah,
okay, I'll try to refrain from that. Yeah. And we will share a link to that in the show notes. So Leah can usually attach that at the bottom. So we'll share that here on the show notes of the podcast. So, and maybe we should talk about doing a quick webinar to show people how to use that.
Yeah, that would be great. It is a little silly. I used to be such an AI hater before I got out. I didn't want to use AI. I thought that's where creativity went to die. But it is a useful tool when you use it in the right context to be able to do something. You can do great things with it. It's up to you to do the good thing.
And the cool thing is where you need to search thousands of pages of documents, like you say, it's basically a search tool for those specific documents. So that makes it very, very powerful as a resource.
if you're in a pickle and you don't know what to do, or if you get a letter that you don't quite understand, you can ask it questions and it'll try and give it to you in a manner that's more easily understood than sometimes the handbook jargon that's spit out.
Awesome. Okay, very good. Micayla, anything you want to add to all that?
No, you did a great job. I would maybe just emphasize that FSA is there to help you. FSA employees love to help their farmers and see their farmers succeed. So participate in their programs, be patient with them. There are significant internal challenges when you've got a lot of programs to administer. There's a lot of paperwork. So just having that good relationship and being patient with them definitely goes a long way.
Good. And let's talk deadlines before we wrap up. I seem to remember that a lot of the conservation programs have like a fall type deadline, and maybe it's fall and winter.
It depends what agency you're with. I think NRCS has different things where you have to turn in what you've done for your CSP contracts. For a CRP contract, not exactly. If you have any revisions to your contracts, they should be done before the turn of the fiscal year to make sure that payments can get out on time for those kind of things. But as for individual signups within this Conservation Reserve Program, they're announced and they're kind of sporadic. They try to do them at the same time, but it depends on funding. They're a little bit sporadic throughout the year. So if it's something that you want to do, it's, again, good to just hang out with your county office people and say, hey, I want to sign up for this. Please call me when it opens, or please let me know, and they'll be able to help you out.
Okay, and then the disaster programs are sort of on a case-by-case basis, I assume, and then the lending is continuous. That's an always going thing.
Yeah, so like for LFP, or Livestock Forage Program, the best way to follow it is through the U.S. Drought Monitor. If you are in a D2 drought or greater for 8 weeks, or there's specific other criteria, if you're in a D3 for at least 1 week or a D3 for 4 weeks, there's different payment amounts for those.
But it just depends on the timing of that.
Yeah, it depends on the timing. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Very good. All right. And then I guess the last question I have is the greatest riddle of all, which is if you are awarded a disaster payment, how do you predict when that payment is going to arrive?
Oh. The best way to do it is to just talk to your county office. If there's a government shutdown, it can throw stuff off for a second. It depends on workload. It depends on the deadline. There's a lot of things different, which makes it so that you can't always save the farm with a payment like that. I would just say be diligent. If you haven't got your payment, talk to your FSA office about it. Make sure it's turned in on time, stuff like that. It's really hard to predict exactly when a payment will come out, but maybe they'll let you know.
Yep. And when those come in, the reason we often worry about that a little is when those come in towards the end of the year, because payments from the FSA are taxable. I think maybe there are a few exceptions to that, but generally if you are receiving money from FSA, it is taxed as income. So we need to be aware of that.
It's the great circle of life. You pay your taxes, and then these programs are made, and you can get a program that's from your tax money, and then you pay taxes again on the program payment that you get. So it's the circle of life. Keep participating.
We're going to leave with Kailee singing the theme from The Lion King as we wrap up here. So awesome. Good. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you being willing to talk through this stuff today. This is wonderful. If people have questions, they obviously can talk to you guys. We will put a link to Kailee's tool, their GPT tool, in the show notes, and look forward to having you guys on again. So thank you very much, Micayla and Kailee. Sorry, I almost got your names backwards. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Ranchnomics podcast. We hope this episode helped you win today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend.